Hey, what's up, guys? It is Josh Thomas back with another Thrive Fantasy PGA breakdown, my new favorite site. I am loving Thrive Fantasy here. It's been a lot of fun to play on this last week or week or two here, getting used to kind of the format. So I feel like I've got some insights now, a little bit more on how to use the site, how to kind of strategize for some of these GPPs. So I'm excited to break down that for you today. Fair warning, I want to give you guys, if you hear screaming, yelling in the background here at some point, it's bachelor finale night, so my wife is upstairs. She might be yelling at the TV. Apparently it's supposed to be pretty drama. I don't really watch it, but she's pretty into it tonight. So if you hear the yelling in the background, that's what it is. I think the guy's name's Peter. I don't know. But back to Thrive Fantasy. Talk about a little bit about our video last week, some of our results. So last week I hit at 70% on our props in the video of what I talked about. Missed the Brooks prop, and I missed the Rory prop, and then I missed the Adam Scott prop. And that one was partially one that I said was like kind of my stay away. So I could give myself 7 out of 9, but for our purpose here, we'll say I hit 70%. If you were a DFSArmy member, VIP, I put in the props that I liked each night for round 2, round 3, round 4. Those hit at 22 out of 31 for a 71% rate. So hey, not that bad. Like I was pretty pleased with that. Again, like I said, I just have been really pleased with the site. I liked kind of how they're set up. I played NBA last night. For those of you who are DFS guys and played NBA last night, and last night was a gong show, right? We had all the issues with the Bucks. I wasn't able to flip out my lineup from guys like Eric Bledsoe and Chris Middleton because they didn't play. I didn't lose my money like I would on DraftKings or FanDuel. Thrive just credited back my entry fee, which is awesome. There's not a lot of sites out there that do that, so that's pretty incredible. I know maybe the most interesting comment I've got from some of my friends and some of our subs at DFSArmy who have played, a guy who plays a ton of high stakes, former 100K winner. He talked to me about it and he said, maybe the thing that I like the most is that this is a site that, we know that there's guys who aren't necessarily going to play well round to round. We know that there's, maybe so-and-so, Tommy Fleetwood's not going to play good tomorrow. Well, now you can just bet the over, right? Or the under, right? You can actually use that information to your advantage. And he cleaned up last week. I know he took down the $25 contest on Sunday. He was second on Saturday. A guy who's just just like you and me, playing a bunch and having a lot of fun on Thrive. So let's get to our Thrive contest for Thursday. Again, we have a $25 PGA Thursday only contest. There are other contests. We'll talk about those in a second here. Payout place 27. We've got a pretty big prize pool, $650 for first place. Last week that was $500, right? Players, we get that bumped a little. Second place $400, third place $250. And 12th through 27th, we're 1.5xing our money there. You get a 10 entry limit. We see, you see some people entering these 10 times, but for the most part, most people are entering them 2 to 3. We look at some of the other golf contests here. Last week, early in the week, this took a while to fill up, but by the end, they were, pretty much everything was filled up. We got the head-to-heads, the $5, which is a great contest, $100 prize pool, only 22 entrants that you got to beat. I haven't ventured into these heads-up contests yet, but that's my goal for this week. And then we got a $5 and a $2. Great, just great little contest. This one's, I believe, a 3 max. So you can really sort of kind of hedge your bets with, changing, taking each side of a prop on some of these. And hopefully you end up taking down the contest and winning your money back at the very least. So again, the less probable a prop is to occur, the more points that you're going to receive, or the less points you're going to receive. So this week we have a really interesting set of 10 of 10 props here. So, we got all the big names. We got Justin Thomas, John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Deki, Brooks, Rory, Rosie, Fowler, Finau, and Fleetwood. So really 10 of the best in the world that now we've got to figure out, okay, which side of the line are we going to be on here with these guys? Remember last week I was 7 to 10. Now just hitting those right props isn't necessarily enough, right? You need to hit the right props to get the right amount of points. So for instance, I actually do kind of like this prop, but John Rahm at 0.5 total eagles is only going to get you 60 points. All right. Is that going to be enough to win a contest? Well, let's take a look at kind of what it looked like last week. So last week at the Arnold Palmer on Thursday, 545 points. So we take that divided by 5. That means that, you really had to average like 105 points for each prop to take down the contest. Now we go to Friday, it's only 415 points. So on Friday, when the scoring was insane, right? Played almost 3 strokes over par. The winning score is only 415 points. That was the first instance that I'd seen that somebody won a contest where they didn't get all 5 of their props right. So on Friday, when that scoring was really high, maybe that 60 points is worth it. But if we're really trying to take down a GPP, as you can see here, the 470, the 530, we can't afford to take the under on John Rahm 60 points. Right? In a head-to-head contest, yes. Maybe in that 10-person contest, absolutely. But in anything else, like if we're trying to win that $650, which I know that the guys who are DFSArmy subs know, like I ain't here to min cash, right? I'm here to win or go home. Okay, I'd rather get first or last. I'm not here to just try to get those $35, right? I want to take it down. So you got to make sure that when you're playing these, that you're not just looking for the most likely outcome, right? I think it's important to look at, okay, what can I, maybe it's not likely that such and such is going to happen, but can I get enough points here if it does happen that I have a chance to take down a GPP? And that's the other thing I've noticed when I'm looking at these GPP winners, right? They're on the other side of maybe the chalk on a lot of these. So not only are they gaining a huge leverage on somebody for, maybe 50, 60% of the field is on one side of the prop and they're taking the other at 10 or 15, but they're also likely getting more points there. So I think it's important to be a little contrarian. This is golf, right? And a lot of these are coin flips. So, I think, like I said, it's important to look at both sides and say, okay, how can I build this lineup to give me the most amount of points? And, you might crash and burn, and that's okay, I think. That's kind of what it is. If you're going to, you want to try to take down a contest, you might end up with 30 points, or I've seen guys with 0 points, and hey, that'll happen. So let's talk about some of these props. We talked a little bit about Ram, but the first one on the list is Justin Thomas, 68.5 total strokes. So the over is going to get you 90 points, and the under is going to get you 110 points. All right. So to get those 110 points, right, you need Justin Thomas to shoot 68, which is 4 under. If we look back to last year, and it's hard, we don't want to look at a ton of data from further back because last year it was in March for the first time, right? This course plays significantly different between March and May when the Players was traditionally held on Mother's Day weekend. So really, for most of these, I'm only going to look back to last year. So 23% of first round scores in 2019 were under 70. All right. Last year, we need 68, right? So 7% were 68 or below. If this was in round 2, round 3, round 4, I might be more apt to jump on the over here. All right. But JT is he's not a great first round scorer. He typically starts a little bit slow. Current round 1 scoring average is about 69. All right. This is one of those, it's a little bit of a coin flip, but if you're going to play like this prop, which it's not going to make it into like my main, I don't think that I'm going to build. But if I'm going to play it, I'm going to play the over here just hope that JT shoots, 60, 69, 70. I think that's probably a pretty realistic option. JT does make a ton of birdies, so he has that low round in him. But I'd give this about a 1 in 10 chance of happening if I was going to handicap it myself. You throw 20, 120, 125, 130 on there, then I can see the risk and maybe try to jump on that for the reward. So for me, Justin Thomas, I'm going to be playing the over on this if I play it at all. John Ram, 0.5 total eagles. So that means that John Ram has to make how many eagles? 1, right? John Ram was the best round 1 scorer on tour last year. He hasn't played a ton in the US this year, so our data set isn't huge, but he is top 15 in first round scoring this year. So far this year, he's made 4 eagles, all right? That's 16th in holes per eagle on tour right now. So, I mean, he's in the top echelon of guys who make eagles. He made one last year here in round 3. We had over 20 eagles in round 1. So, obviously, the safe play here is to take the under for 60 points. But we talked about that in trying to score a high GPP score here. You're not going to be able to really get there with the under on 60 points. This is a risky play, but that 140 can really give you some leverage on the field. I'm imagining that tomorrow the over is going to be like 10 to 15%, right? If somehow Ram finds a way to make an eagle tomorrow, like that's going to be huge. This didn't pay out in any of the 4 contests last week. Now, last week there wasn't a lot of eagles. Tony Finau came close. If you were a DFSArmy VIP, this is one of the props that I missed. I thought that there was a good chance that Finau was going to get an eagle. Burned the edge a couple of times. But I think that the over of 140 here, like I'm going to go with that play. If I make 5 lineups for Thursday, it's probably only going to be in 1. All right. But again, I think that there's definitely a chance that Ram gets an eagle. I would put it at, 15, 20%. I actually think it's a better chance that Ram gets an eagle than Justin Thomas shoots under 68. So, or 68 and a half, shoots 68 or better. So for me, I like the 140 points here. I think that's a very interesting GPP play. So as we continue to scroll down, we got DJ 3.5 total birdies. So the average last year in round 1 was 3.6 birdies per player. DJ last year when he played here averaged 4.75 birdies a round. He hasn't I would be all over the over here. Again, 85 points, not great. But here's my thought process. DJ hasn't played in a while, right? He's been playing overseas. He really hasn't played at all in America. Played the WGC, I believe, let me see here. Not sure he was even in the WGC in Mexico. He might have been skipping that as well. Let me pull. Yeah, so played the WGC in Mexico. Was 48th, so not great. Played Genesis 10th. 32nd at AT&T Pebble Beach, course that he's crushed over the years. But so I've got him at possibly being a little rusty. He hasn't played in almost a month. Everything right now points to the over, right? 4.75 last year, 3.6. I think it's risky, but I don't mind the under on this, and that's the play that I'm going to make. I'm going to bank on DJ being a little rusty. He's a mediocre round 1 scorer. His birdie average for the season is 3.44. And the other thing that's really going to benefit us here maybe is that DJ has a really high eagle rate. So eagles, this is not 3.5 total birdies and eagles like we'll see in a second here. This is 3.5 birdies. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that DJ might shoot 5 under tomorrow, but it's going to be 3 birdies and an eagle. And I'm going to take the under here. Again, I'm trying to get to that 500, 525, 530, and there's not a lot of spots that you can do that with some of these props. So I definitely like the under here. I think it's risky, but it's something that I'm interested in. Total pars, Deki Matsuyama. This is a very, very difficult prop to assess in that we don't have a ton of good data on pars. B, we don't really know how the course is playing. So for me, this is really going to be a guess. Last time around here, 12 pars per round. I don't see him making a ton of bogeys on this course. Just the way he's been playing, his iron play has been great. He's been pretty good here over the course of his career. So this is a coin flip. gets you 100 points, so you want to be on the right side of this. Field only averaged 10.7 pars in round 1 last year, so it is risky to take the over here, but I also just don't see him making a ton of bogeys and a ton of birdies, right? So I think that we see Deki make like 3 birdies, a bogey, and 14 pars tomorrow, or on Thursday. So that's where I'm at on here. I'm going to take the over on this and hope that I can get those 100 points for my guy. The next prop we got, Brooks Koepka. What is going on with Brooks? Like, the guy has just been struggle bus lately. Started to figure it out a little bit on the last weekend, but he's still really struggling. So here's the positive with Brooks. The last time he played here, he averaged 2 bogeys around, but it could have been much worse. He had 5 double bogeys. Now, double bogeys, remember, don't count as bogeys for Thrive, right? If we're looking for bogeys here. So we got to be careful with that. And if we look back 2 years ago when this was played in May and Brooks was at the top of his game, he only made 2 bogeys the entire week. So I like the over because I like the points, but if you wanted to play the under, I wouldn't really talk you out of it, but it's going to be the over for me. Rory, 3.5 birdies and eagles. Like, is there a better golfer on the planet right now? The play here is the over. There's just not a ton of value in those 80 points. Again, if you have 4 very risky ones, maybe, you get the Ram, Eagle, things like that. You can jump on Rory here for over 3.5 birdies and eagles for 80 points. That might get you to where you want to go. Justin Rose, 13.5 pars and bogeys. This is an absolute lock play for me this week. 105 points. I'm taking it. Rosie, field averaged exactly 13.5 pars and bogeys in the first round here last year. We get bonus points, extra, 10 more points for taking the over. He's only averaging 3.5 birdies per round right now. So if he continues on that pace, we do have 1 hole wiggle room. He's due some positive regression at some point, I think, especially since he switched back to those tailor-made irons. But for me, I'm locking in 105 points for the over here. And Ricky's not shooting 67.5 tomorrow. We can just skip over this one. If you need the bonus points for taking or you need the 75 for taking the over, go for it. There's just no chance that Ricky's going to. In my mind, there's no chance that Ricky's going to shoot 67 tomorrow. He's not shooting 5 under. He's off in the afternoon. There's no value here. Finally, our last 2. We got Tony Finau, 4.5 total birdies, 120 points for the over. I like this prop. I'm not a huge Tony Finau truther, but hear me out here. So when talking about, the field averaged almost 4 birdies per round last year. So Finau doesn't need to have a crazy day. The issue that I have with Finau is that there's a possibility that, he's so long, he's great on these these par 5s. He could get an eagle and mess this whole thing up, right? So if he gets an eagle, we need him to make 5 birdies. Now we're talking 6, 7, 8 under. Like, I'm not sure he can do that tomorrow, but he's averaging 4 birdies around this year, so we don't need him to be outrageous tomorrow. He's had some success here. I'm not going to pair this with Ram. I don't need a 600-point score to win, but another risky play that I'm definitely interested in at 120, and that's going to be my position on this one. And finally, Tommy Fleetwood. So Fleetwood broke 70 in both of his rounds last year to start the event. Pretty successful at this course. The issue is that he's been playing excellent golf up until last weekend when he admittedly said, if I'm going to miss the cut, it's nice that it's everything that's going wrong and not just one thing. So he's got some work to do this week. The concern that I have is that 69.5, he's got to shoot 3 under here. He's completely capable of that, but he is going to be going off in the late afternoon. The wind is supposed to pick up just a little bit in the afternoon. And he's a good first round scorer, a little bit better second round scorer. So I'm going to take the points here for 110. So let's look at my locks, flops, and risky props. All right. So my lock prop for the week is going to be that Justin Rose over 13.5 total pars and bogeys for 100 points. My flop prop is that short under 0.5 eagles. That's not going to be in the winning lineup. All right. It's possible that he makes the eagle, and that's for sure in the winning lineup, right? So think about that for a second in terms of how you build your lineups. If Ram makes an eagle, right, that means that you are likely in the top 15% of lineups in that. So you're automatically going to cash and you're going to crush. My risky prop that I do like, right, is that Dustin Johnson under 3.5 total birdies. Again, super risky. It's hard to jump on that, but again, we need the points. So let's look at what it looks like if we are going to build a lineup, right? We're trying to get over 500, right? That's really our key here. So let's build a lineup. All right, so we talked about Justin Rose. That's my lock prop. I won't even play the Ram prop, even though I do like it. I'll take Brooksy over 2.5 bogeys. I'm going to take the Deki over 11.5. I will take, so that puts me at 320 for 3. I can get, let's see. Okay, that puts me at 400, right? So now I don't need like an outrageous, I can get, 20 Finau here, right? So my 5 would be Deki over 11.5. Brooks over 2.5 gets me 115. I can take that safety of the Rory 80 points there, right? And then I can get, the Rosie over and the Finau. So that's an interesting little build for me. I like 520. I think that's got a good chance to win. Now, if we were going to get really risky here and really go all out and try to take this thing down, I want to get that Ram. That's going to put me at 580. That'd be a massive score. Okay. So maybe I don't want Ram and Finau together. So I can go, maybe a Tommy Boy over one. That seems like an interesting little play. I can go Rory. No, I can get that DJ under in there. I think that we're going to see a really, if guys don't play great tomorrow, which, hey, this is the players. There's tons of variance here. So if guys don't play great, I think that there's a good chance that we could see a very, very high score for the win tomorrow. Okay, so that's what I got for Thrive this week. Again, looking back, crushed last week, right? 70% hit rate, 7 out of 10 on this video. Last week overall, 71% hit rate. For our DFSArmy subs, we had guys crushing every single contest. It was a lot of fun to talk about in Slack. If you are not a DFSArmy member, what you can do, all right, is you can join us, all right, at DFSArmy and sign up for Thrive at the same time. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in 2 seconds. So DFSArmy free month offer. All right. Take a look here. So to qualify for this offer, you just got to do a couple of things. All right. Go to thrivefantasy.com. Use the code DFSArmy. You make a deposit of at least $20. Forward your welcome email for the site. Sign up to fffootballgeek@gmail.com. Let us know your username on the site, right? So if you sign up at, Johnny Timbuktu, whatever, just email us that, okay? Then you're going to forward that deposit confirmation that shows that you deposited at least $20, all right, with that same email. You do those 2 things, you get a free month of DFSArmy. This is a great time to sign up. We got baseball starting, right? We crush baseball. We've got, PGA, right? We got the players. We got the WGC match play. The Masters is coming up. You can take a look at all of our information, right? And we've got tons of stuff to share with you. I'll just show you a little bit here. We've got, this is an example of the information that we give our players every single week. This is our research station at DFSArmy. Got everything you'd want to know for information in there, from scoring stats, driving accuracy, long-term, recent form, field rank split, strokes gained, showdown scoring, how they score on certain types of holes. So like I just have this sorted right now for who's the best long par 4 player, right? DJ, Rory McIlroy. Then there's an interesting name in there, Mark Hubbard. Maybe you want to get him in your DFS lineups this week, right? So not only do you get all of this, right, but you get all of our great information for all of our other sports for a month. And all you got to do is sign up at Thrive, put $20 in, play some contests. It's a ton of fun. I love this site. If you're already a DFSArmy sub and you're watching this video and going, okay, well, what's in this for me? Use that code DFSUpNorth at Thrive Fantasy. You put $20 in, we will match your $20. All right. They will give you $20. No drip, super free. Like I said, this is my new, diehard, been playing DFS my entire life. New sites pop up all the time. Right. And I always go, that ain't going to last. I really, really love Thrive Fantasy. It is a ton of fun to play on. And like I said, you get that, like last night, that basketball situation, right? How many people were tilting about the Bucks, right? They just blew their money. You were playing on Thrive. Guess what? You got that back, right? It was a pleasant surprise. Even Middleton. Middleton was dressed. He was out there, but he didn't touch the court. I didn't know what was going to happen to my lineups that had Middleton in them here on Thrive. And guess what? This morning when I look back, all my lineups were credited. So they're looking out for the players. I love that about this site. It's a ton of fun to play on. Again, join. If you're not a DFSArmy sub, get a free month. If you are a DFSArmy sub, use that code DFSUpNorth, $20 match on your first deposit. It's been a ton of fun. It's only going to get better here. These props are great. And let's go get it this week. Thanks, guys.